So we'll wait until 30. Let's see if anyone joins us. Okay. So what will be start 1 minute. Okay, we will start. Hello, everyone. Super exciting to have another Nebula Graph community meeting. We will get started. So agenda. So as usual, we will have new members in introduction when someone joined. We will start first, and we will have this meeting bi-weekly, so everyone can join us and bring your own story or your proposal, your topics to be discussed in this sync platform or time period. And if you want to raise your ideas before a meeting, feel free to join our Slack channel. So today, I will go through the project heartbeats first. Then I will give a topic around Nebula-UP, which is the set project I created to help our fresh users to quickly set up a cluster of Nebula Graph. But I have some news to share in today's meeting. So we don't have too many PRs being merged in last 2 weeks, but we actually have a bunch of pending being reviewed PRs ongoing, and they were targeted to be merged in upcoming 3 or 2 weeks, and that's for the major the milestone of the 3.2.0. And so I will mainly introduce 3 of our PRs. The first one is to remove the useless append vertex operators. So this is actually a optimization role that in certain case, for example, in this case, we want to the pattern to be matched will be vertex outgoing in edge typed like to some other non-tapped tag. So after this being matched, the only returned item will be the starting point only. So in this case, we don't need to get the destination of this edge. So we just want to return the V here. So previously, we still are adding append vertex operators in the plan, but now it's precisely controlled and removed, and that's helping the performance. So this is the first optimization PR. And the second one is previously in 3.1, we have some issues in explain a given query, and maybe you don't know that we can choose the format of explain. You want to check the execution plan of a query, and by default is output in a human readable table, but optionally you can specify the format as dot, so it will instead generate the text format dot file. If you copy that dot format string into graph VZ or something equivalent, you can render a graph view of how this query was done, was planned from one query from one operator to another. This is a DAG. So it's broken somehow, and now it's fixed. Another one is from 3.1.0. We bring we have more aggressive default concurrently query policies, and that introduced some bugs in certain like index related and some other cases, and they were fixed in this PR. But if you look into the open PR with the milestone v.3.2, you will see a bunch of optimizations out there, like shortest path, and remove useless projects, and push down of specific filtering operators. So that's pretty exciting ones. So please, if you're interested, just check out our GitHub repo. And that's main part of the updates today for the project. So then finally, I will give you my ad-hoc topic. It's about Nebula-UP. I believe many of you already know that it's a one-liner tool to help you set up, even help you install Bro if you don't have on your macOS, and then install Docker and Docker Compose, and then put everything related on Nebula Graph for you to get started to play with it. Previously, I make it possible to run a console, a Nebula Graph cluster, and the Nebula Graph Studio. And I have been planning to bring more components to it. And in this week, I decided to make some move, and I tried to bring the Nebula dashboard, which include the Prometheus, the node exporter, the Nebula exporter, and the dashboard itself. It's a couple of different containers. And also I bring a playable and runnable Spark and Hadoop cluster in a container way together with Nebula Graph. So I create some scripts so you can use one-liner to just run a exchange or algorithm, or even Spark connector in PySpark. Just one line. You just give one line, it will run it for you. It's pretty awesome. And also, finally, I bring the backup and restore into this Nebula-UP too. So the BR, or best backup restore, is actually involved in last quarter, and we can it's now agent based. We decoupled SSH, so it's quite more user friendly. So you can make a full backup of the cluster, and it will automatically transit the backup into your either it's a local file or local file system, or a remote NFS, or S3 compatible object storage service. And yep. So to bring the BR's most challenging part, I managed to hack some of, because it's not designed designed for the container use case, but I made it happen. So if you're interested, you can just take a look into the code. So yeah. So what is Nebula Graph? And previously, the version 1 is just one-liner installer with Docker, Nebula Graph, and Studio and Console, and you just run it. It will help you automatically do the stuff. So I'm bringing the version 2 now. So I introduce all-in-one mode, and in this all-in-one mode, you can have the Spark with the Spark Hadoop connector, exchange, and algorithm. And you have a dashboard mode. And of course, you have all mode if you have everything in one go. And it will help you install everything needed of a dashboard. You know, dashboard is a distributed services architecture. You have like 5 components, and there are a bunch of configurations, so it will be confusing for the fresh user. It will take you some hours to make everything up, but with Nebula-UP dashboard mode, you can have everything in one liner. And the BR, and in this BR setup, I help you configure and set up the Nebula agent, which will, it's like a sidecar of all the services, and I will install you the client CMI CL-like BR client, and then I will set up a min IO cluster for you. You can consider in your production, maybe it's your S3 service. So yeah, and after you run that, you will see something end up like this. And by default, the Nebula Graph, Nebula-UP will be placed in your home directory in .nebula-up folder. And then you can visit the different services. I will show you later in a demo. So apart from this handy one-liner, I also created a bunch of different utilities or scripts to help you try different things just in another line. So for example, this is the output. So you can see, you can use this line to CD to all the files involved for Nebula-UP. You can check out yourself. And you can use the Nebula Studio in this port, and you can have a Nebula dashboard in another port. And actually, you can access your min IO in the administration interface. I didn't show it, but you can explore it. And with this line, this is the same as the previously the version 1 Nebula-UP, but I make it more usable. I will demo it to you later. Of course, you can clean up everything with this command. So I put all the handy utilities under this folder, and it will have the extension named as .sh. So after you have this in your path environment set up to this folder, you will have all of this working without specifying the abstract, the absolute path. So for example, you can run the BR refers to backup and restore. So it will help you loaded a BR command line from a container and run everything corresponding commands and help you show. So I didn't, in this example, I didn't trigger any backup, so you can show nothing. And when you give console.sh, you will enter to the console. It's already logged into the GraphD. I will show you more of them later in the demo. So, okay, I will demo it for you. Set up this. Okay, so imagine you just run this one-liner. Oops, it's disconnected. I will show you in the GitHub. You can see here. GitHub.com. Wait. Nebula-UP. So this is the code repo here. And you will see previously you just call this line to install with the install.sh. So this is the V1 version of the Nebula-UP. They will have this. And you can even specify different versions. And now the all-in-one mode is the one that I introduced in this week. It's I call it V2, but I didn't mark it in the repository yet. So we support a bunch of different surrounding tools. And how do you call it? You just call this line. So after you call this line, it will take some minutes depending on your network bandwidth. You will have a similar output as it was before in V1. So after that, you can see I list everything in my home in my Nebula-UP home folder. I will show you everything. So for example, so first I export this path, so I can directly call console.sh. Yes, I can enter here. So hosts, yep, it's working. And you can actually call this show hosts. Yeah, it's working. And you can also directly call this line load basketball player data set. It will help you load this data set for you, which I already done that. So you can like show spaces. You can see, yep, it's already there. And then I will show you something about the BR. So I can see here. So this is actually directly calling the BR for us. It's actually running inside a Docker. And so what I did, you can use the show. So it's listing all your existing backups. So what we can do else, we can try the backup. It will help you trigger a whole backup. Yes, it's done properly. And after that, we can do the show command. Oh yeah, it's there. And then you can call the restore, which I don't show you here, but you can try explore it. And what about the others? Okay, we have an exchange example. I will bring more, so stay tuned for the Nebula-UP repository. It will help us directly run an exchange job with given specific exchange input data and configurations. And it will actually load the data with the Spark with the Nebula exchange and input the data, sync it to our cluster. You can, if you are interested, you can just in this folder, you just give enter it. You can see everything. So for example, our Spark related things are here. So we just Spark. So underlying the Spark related workload are here. Yeah, we have a Hadoop and Spark cluster, and inside this Spark node, I put the exchange, the algorithm, and Spark connector jar package inside that, and my script is just directly calling that. So regarding this exchange, I'm actually leveraging this configuration. So it will you can see the yeah, you can see the source is a CSV file. I will introduce more source examples here with your one-liner. For example, I can make it calling MySQL and parsing data from MySQL and sync it to Nebula Graph. The sync refers to it will call Nebula Graph, and it will inject the data there. So the file is called player.csv. So we can cat player. So it's just the two record with different information. So you can look into the details if you're interested. And finally, I want to demo you this one. This is the PySpark shell. So it's perfectly for this, try it out. So we can refer to the documentation in README part. So I give your more details. For example, this one, this line you will call find path. I can do it later. And we can see here we are in the Spark, and we just call this. So this is like data frame equals to spark.read.format. The format will be the Nebula Graph connector, Spark connector. and we add the options with we are scanning the vertex on the space named basketball player, and the tag or the label is player, and we want return name and age. We want the meta-d addresses here. I put everything in one container network so they can be resolved and routed from this names host name and partition name 1 and load. So then what's next? We can actually show the data framework. So we want to give maybe more limit, and boom, it will call the meta and then storage D to scan the data for us. So we're actually calling the Nebula Spark connector in Python. So isn't that cool? So what else we can do? So we can see, oh, let's find a long one. So this one we are calling, yep, we're calling a find path from this node to another over everything where blah, 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 and we want to out the path. So we can see all the paths between the two. Isn't that cool? So you don't have to do anything. You just give one liner. You have everything set up, and apart from the command line, you can actually call them. I have some web services. So this one is the dashboard. Dashboard is a project. You want to do the observation and monitoring work towards the Nebula Graph. So this is all included in the Nebula-UP. You just give one go and everything is usable. Isn't that cool? Yeah, partition, load, memory, disk, service. Okay, don't have, yeah, we have those metrics overview. Yeah, everything shown here. So yeah, and you can actually visit this domain name because the thanks to Microsoft, they sponsored me, so I can have this thing set up and you can play with it yourself. And okay, let's check another one. So this is the this is not new, just this is just Studio, and can give English. Yep. Yeah. And it's actually already included in V1, but I want to demonstrate to you too. For example, player 100. Yes. Yeah. So you can play with that. Isn't that cool? The final one, maybe I want to yeah. Regarding the backup restore, we set up a main IO for you. It's object storage. So it's actually have a web console too. So I think the password is the default one, this one. And login. Yeah. So we can see, yeah, we already have this. Remember, we create a backup here. Yeah. And we can actually call this. We can show it. Yeah, it's this is the name. Yes, it's this one. We can create another one, right? Okay. And we should have, yeah, we have two of them. So isn't that straightforward? So you can easily understand everything with this sweet tool for you. And that's all of the demo, I think. So this is the architecture I want to show you more. So actually, if you look into the files here, yeah. Yes, tree. So if we look into the files here and we comparing to this one, We have three, for now, we have 4 of different Docker compose folders. So one is based on Nebula. Actually, there is another one. It's the studio one. Yeah. Apart from that, there are 4 of them. This is the Nebula Graph one. So it's actually reusing the Nebula Docker compose project. And I just add actual lines to make the network external. So the other containers can access as in same container network. So there's no difference, no big difference. So regarding the BR, we can see backup and restore. It's here. So it's another Docker compose, and these are related config files. So it's here. So the BR can call the agent. Agent will call the services, and the services, it will make a RPC call to do the corresponding service stop, read only, and fetch all the SSD files and store it, pass it to backend storage. So in this case, I'm setting up with the min IO. It's F3 compatible OSS. And also, I have already shown you the Spark environment. So here, the Spark, I set up you Hadoop and the Spark master, and I put the 3 applications inside this Spark environment. And when you run that, I will call the cluster for you. So this is the dashboard. So inside dashboard, there will be a Prometheus, the exporters, and the dashboard itself. So itself including the statistic files and the HTTP and Nebula HTTP gateway. Yeah, and that's the main structure architecture of it. So I think that's more of everything. Yeah. So let's come back. Yeah, let's take a recap. So Nebula-UP v2 is just a containerized playground, include the Spark tools, which are Spark Nectar, the exchange, and the algorithm. And the dashboard, including Prometheus, exporters, HTTP gateway, etc. And the backup and restore, it introduced all of the agents. Actually, I have 6 agents. If you're interested in why, you can look into the code. And the BR utility and the min IO cluster, which is at the backend storage, centralized. And I also introduced a bunch of CLI utilities as I just demoed to you. You can do everything in the one-liner. You don't have to dive into the details, the parameters, the dependencies. You just call this one-liner. You will have everything ready. And this will be extremely for you to be easily understand everything in the first day. So this is the architecture I just explained to you. And yeah, and in future, I will bring more things to it. Like I will bring the elastic integration for the full stack, for the full text search, and the Nebula bench, so you can run your LDBC or your benchmark towards Nebula Graph. Although it's it's not everything all in one is not optimal for the performance, but you can run it. And I may make similar things to my other side project called Nebula based on Kubernetes in Docker. So you can have another one-liner, but you will have Kubernetes in container and a cluster on top of that, a Nebula cluster on top of the Nebula Kubernetes operator. And I will try to bring all those involved components modes in our documentation. So the user ideally can, with one-liner, if they have a Linux server with internet, you can actually try it in the first beginning without struggling with the details in first go. And finally, I may try to bring Kafka, the Flink, the MySQL, and some other integrations, either it's related to Spark, Flink, or something else. So stay tuned if you're interested. And if you want to bring something specifically into Nebula-UP as well, ping me in Slack, or drop me a mail, or even create an issue in Nebula-UP repository. And that's all of this ad-hoc topic. I hope you enjoyed that. So we are running out of time. So finally, before we calling this an end, we will have this meeting every 2 weeks. Be sure to subscribe our Zoom meeting, or subscribe our Google Calendar. So we have an Etherpad here. So everything is on everything is on our website. Just check out that it's on the Nebula community repository in the wiki site. Another thing I want to say is, I will say it every time, we are being open beta of our managed Nebula Graph services on Azure for now, but the news in this week is I have the source to know we will launch Nebula Graph service on Alibaba Cloud, maybe in upcoming weeks. It's actually can be used, just there is no loading page there, landing page there, sorry. So another news is that one of our contributors sitting in the US, which is Hao Wen, will be talking about Nebula Graph in Sigmod 2022. So this is the website. You can see that. Oh yeah, this is the Nebula Graph in Azure portal. As I showed every time, you just search Graph database, you will see Nebula Graph Cloud. And yeah, this is the Sigmod program web page. You can see here, Hao Wen, this is our contributor. He will introduce everyone the design and architecture and the background stories of Nebula Graph. So if you are in Sigmod, be sure to check out with Hao Wen. So this is time, the local time. Yep. And that's all of today. Thank you very much. So see you in 2 weeks. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.